The latest on the Michigan scandal, and again, I talked to you about these coaches talk, and they do. And I'm curious if Tennessee got caught in this type of scandal, and it led to Michigan's success last year, which was making the college football playoff. And I don't think it's going to lead to any success this season because surely everybody knows to change their signs when they come in from the sideline when you're playing Michigan. Let me ask you frankly, on the message board and Caleb Calhoun, if you were guaranteed to make the college football playoff, a 4-team playoff, which is tough to make, and it's going to be 12 next year, would you be okay with Josh Heupel allowing something like this to happen as long as he was well insulated? Okay, so this guy that's done the cheating may have done it just all on his own. I think that, Jim Harbaugh had to have some idea. I don't think that they're sitting around in a coach's meeting and he's sitting there like throwing stuff out like, well, if they do this, they're going to do this. And like, how did you know that? How did you at some point, please give me some insight as how do you know that? How did you know that? But as long as he's insulated, David Reeves was he was well insulated from Lane Kiffin, and he was the guy who sent the hostesses to North Carolina. And I don't remember their names, but they were both 4-star guys, and they ended up getting both of them. Brandon Miller was one, I believe, and one stayed, and one because he didn't spend the night in a dorm room, which at the time tied you to that university. Lane Kiffin left, and he bolted. I can't remember his name for the life of me, but it got you 2 4-star prospects out of North Carolina. So as long as you're protecting your rear, are you okay with a little bit of cheating? Would you be upset if Josh Heupel, one of the people on his staff, did this and dressed up like, I keep thinking, because like, didn't he wear glasses? Wasn't he on the sideline at one point for Central Michigan? This is pretty deep, but would you be okay with that, keeping in mind that you had an NCAA investigation just wrap up as a backdrop? If not for that, I'd be like, go for it. It's a David Reeves type of career. So just chuck him. Lane didn't take him to Southern California. So, but it helped Tennessee.
If you don't get called, I'd be for it. But I don't care if you get called for secondary violations because those are never real punishments. But this seems like it could be a major one, and then I would have a problem if you got caught. Because again, I don't have much of a problem with cheating in general if you don't get caught in a lot of ways. Let me ask you this, Dave. Auburn fans in 2010, do you think Auburn fans care that they got away with paying Cam Newton a couple $100,000 to go win a national championship? Or do you think they're like, we got a national?
No. And it was Corey Miller, by the way. Do you think Southern California looks back and they're like, oh, that Reggie Bush thing, that was so embarrassing?
They do because they had to forfeit that one. That one, they got caught.
Come on.
The Auburn one is the one I'm talking about because Auburn didn't get caught. We all know they did it.
Don't give me, but don't give me that forfeit championships and forfeit games. They won that championship. I was putting together a story in which Jeremy Pruitt had to forfeit a game, and I still counted it as a win in my column. At the end of the day, we saw the two teams play. I don't believe in any of that stuff, and it is
kind of stupid. I will say, I didn't think this was a big deal 2 weeks ago when it came out. I might be changing my tune a little bit or you tell me, Dave, is this sour grapes or does this change your mind at all? The Athletic did a report. The vast majority of coaches said the scandal is severe to somewhat severe. Like it was like they did a poll of 50 coaches and the vast majority said it's severe to somewhat severe or severe to very severe, severe to very severe. All the Big Ten schools, rival ADs, are waiting, or they're asking the Big Ten office why they're not doing anything to punish Michigan. My question is this sour grapes that they didn't think of it, or do you think that's evidence that maybe this is real serious? That, Or do you think it's something that they wouldn't have thought it was a big deal, but because an opposing school did it, they're going to think it's a big deal now?
I think it's serious. Congratulations. Your home search just got easier. Buying a home in Chattanooga has never been easier with Chattanooga Mortgage. Go to chatwith2tmortgage.com, chatwith2ts mortgage.com. Bruce, my friends will take care of you there. I think it's serious. And it shouldn't be, but it is. The rule is in place because UConn, for instance, if it were UConn and Tennessee, UConn cannot afford to send coaches to all of these different games to scout opponents. And that's the theory behind it. Tennessee, on the other hand, could. So it's to level the playing field is what it is. Just like recruiting rules, how many times you can take official visits, how many times you can host guys. UConn doesn't have the recruiting budget that Tennessee does. So that's why it's there. I mean, that's why the rule is there. That's why when you get mega conference, stupid stuff like this goes away. Okay, because mega conference, everybody can afford it. And I don't give a darn if you go in there and you buy a whole section. And there's like and Tennessee's got an off week, and Florida's playing Georgia, and Tennessee has a whole section V15, whatever you want to call it. Or if it's next year, section V24, they're in Sanford Stadium, and they bought up the whole section, and they're scouting out both teams. But I know that they play in Jacksonville. But anyway, you know what I mean.
No, yeah. So here's where I'm kind of also coming around, where maybe it's a little more serious, where you're right. I never thought about it with other schools can't afford it. So based on that, like Ohio State to pretend they're a victim of this is stupid, because they could have afforded to do the same thing. It's not like but what I will say is that another layer of this that you think about, I always think about, I said 2 weeks ago, switch your signs up, do that. I never thought about this, but I read a comment on Twitter, and Dave, you tell me if this is true. More than high school or the NFL, both of which this stuff is allowed anyway. College football, it's extremely hard for coaches to install things where they could like switch up their signs as adjustments mid-game, because they are limited with practice time. They're limited with preparation because they're having to recruit so much, to the point to where are college coaches more limited in X's and O's in-game preparation than any other level of football, because of the time they have to spend recruiting and meeting with donors and things like that?
Probably. That's why you have 1,500 analysts if you're Alabama.
Yeah.
So
that's probably when me and you would say switch your signs up. Well, you still actually have to kind of work on that in practice, don't you? Before the game, like to say, if you're going to say we're going to switch all our signs up, you can't just go in halftime and say new signs for everything for 100, however many players on a team.
No, I mean that's very true. Now that the other thing that this guy was actually at one point dressed in opposing teams' gear. Now, we are excited at Off the Hook Sports to actually have a picture of this person dressed in opposing teams' gear so that he could scout the opponent. So I sent that to you, Caleb. If we could go ahead and pull that up, that would be great. This is big.
Yeah, I know who this is, but
this is big time breaking news. So go ahead and can you pull that up so we can share that on the screen? We have actually a picture of trying to be in disguise, and so this is breaking news. We're excited about
Sorry,
this.
my computer's acting really, really, really bad.
That's all right. Travis says I'm 100% with trying to key on play calls, but this is ridiculous. It is a little bit ridiculous. We do have a picture here that I want to pull up of this actually happening, which is bizarre. Oh no, that's Bobby Valentine.
And also,
what the H? That's Bobby Valentine dressed up like a fireman.
And he wasn't scouting, by the way. I think he got kicked out.
He did get kicked out of his own game, and he just showed up. He's like, hey, I'm back, but I've got glasses and a fake mustache on, so you'll never know who I am.
Was this before or after they gave Bobby Bonilla that contract that Bobby Bonilla is still collecting $1 million from the Mets every July 1st?
I think it was the same weekend.
Same weekend.
I don't know that, but I believe that it may have been the same weekend.
That's some brilliance by Bobby Bonilla, man. That's the finesse of finesses.
How in the world, though, do you not get expected? I mean, here's the other thing. So I was joking around a little bit. Tennessee, do this, go for it. But they do have the backdrop of the NCAA investigation that just happened. And this is stupid. I mean, this is absolutely stupid. I mean, how are you not going to eventually get caught? Travis, who needs to say Bobby Bonilla again? Did somebody say it wrong?
Say Bonilla? Bobby Bonilla? Did I say Bonilla instead of Bonilla? Whatever.
Bonilla.
Whatever. I don't care.
Male Ava.
Male Ava. Male Ava.
To Tungabaiola. We help you pronounce each and every day, weekdays at 10. And be sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't done to this point. It's been a fun Friday show. We're going to roll with, by the way, Fred, a little bit under the weather today. Speaking from a man who could do more than roll out of the bed and do the show because I had COVID a couple weeks ago. I certainly feel for him. So get better soon, Fred. We want to see that. But yeah, this scandal is getting bigger and bigger, and it's not going to go away anytime soon. And I don't believe Jim Harbaugh has insulated himself well enough because I don't think he cares. Caleb, I don't believe that he truly cares if he gets in trouble or not because he wants to go to the NFL.